Oh, hello there. Yes, well, it's still the weekend, and yeah, that's about it, really. Cold, damp, miserable. Just like the news, really, isn't it? Yes. Still, there was some cheer yesterday with the release of some more Israeli hostages, which, of course, all the usual suspects got very cross about because, having come out of a zone where people are routinely starved to death by the Israeli state, apparently they looked a bit thin. It was a crime against humanity, and one can only hope that those people who perpetrated that crime against humanity will be punished. But the thing about all of that kind of thing is that the way that I'm expected to feel great sympathy for one group of people, but not another group of people. I don't really understand how that's supposed to work. Presumably, I'm supposed to feel enormous sympathy for the Israeli hostages and their family and anyone that's Israeli, but I can't apply that to people from, well, different nationalities. I don't know. Supposing they were Belgian citizens, what am I expected to believe then? Do I need to believe something different, or can I just be one of those weird people that thinks that, maybe we should just kind of get along a bit better? Yes. Anyway, speaking of which, my eye was drawn to this piece by Tim Collins. Yes, him of sort of Gulf War, played by Kenneth Branagh fame. This one, well done, Judge. Now police and soldiers will not dare use deadly force. We are unprotected, which was a bit disappointing, really, to read because it was about, you can link down below, about the army killing members of the IRA. Now, none of us would disagree with the notion of using deadly force on people that are intent on damaging life and limb, but what Mr. Collins unfortunately has done here is suggest somehow that because we might want to hold, soldiers or indeed states liable for things like war crimes, that somehow we're all unprotected by that. Well, I'm not going to have a go at anybody that wants to shoot somebody that's going to kill people. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Police and force is absolutely fine. But of course, the real problem comes when you get states that just decide that, well, certain people, be they Belgian citizens or Israelis, just basically intrinsically are bad people, and realistically we shouldn't have to worry about, any sorts of laws in and around how we treat them. And that's basically the problem that I have with the Israeli state. I don't have any problems with individual Jewish people. I don't have any problems with individual Israeli states, other than the whole war crimes thing. Yeah, why can't we just have the rule of law? And the answer is, well, that isn't the way that it works. And on a deeper level, what this has to do with, of course, is the ability of certain people who feel they have the right to effectively end your life, should they so wish. Lots of these arguments around these types of things are people saying, well, supposing it'll be you next, yeah? How would you feel then? Well, obviously I'd feel quite bad. I mean, not after I've died, but presumably that split second when the bullet penetrates my skull. But that's the issue, you see, yeah, in the sense that I might well be next. And if you look at, for example, the history of the British Army vis-a-vis events in Northern Ireland, particularly in the 1960s, it's a tale of woe. And part of the reason why it's a tale of woe was because the British Army had been very used to sort of minor operations against people that weren't actually UK citizens, and as such had got kind of used to, well, not worrying too much if people, kind of died, because they were, lesser citizens. That instantaneously got transferred to the Irish, yeah? The bogwogs, as the British Army in those days used to call them, and instantaneously it becomes the Catholics. There wasn't an IRA when the British Army arrives, but very soon afterwards there was. Oh, well, that just proves how uppity the Irish are, and how much we should be allowed to basically shoot them because they are intrinsically bad people. Not too sure about that. And which Irish are we talking about? Because after all, the Ulster Defence Force has a bit of a lousy reputation on that one as well. I guess it's just certain people. Now, you might be fine with that notion, and the vast numbers of people in the British media are fine with that notion. You know, the whole thing about, astoundingly, this weekend there was an actual Israeli soldier who's been basically charged with some form of crimes in and around, well, torturing people. Yes, I know, astounding. Yes, most moral army in the world must be, because there's only one of them, apparently. But you can see where I'm going with this. The intrinsic problem is that we need to have laws which protect all of us, and we do. They're called human rights. But there's a lot of interested parties out there that want you to believe that realistically certain laws should just be kind of, done away with. Oddly, the laws they want to see done away with are the ones that do protect all of us, be they people that come here on boats, or the Irish, or the Belgians, or indeed Israeli citizens in this country, be they Jewish or not, yeah? That's the key thing about it. That's how the law should work. But the law has that nasty thing of being a bit impartial. And those people who have, done very well out of the last decade, should we say, really don't want to play by those rules anymore. And the easiest way that they can persuade you that they shouldn't obey those rules is to persuade you that, other people around you, not you, obviously, because of the colour of your skin makes you very special and they definitely won't come for you, but they definitely should be allowed to go for those other people instead. Yes, you can see that with Elon Musk, can't you? Yes, he's the richest person in the world who could do anything he wanted to in terms of making all of our lives better. But he seems very, very intent on taking the lessons that he learned as a child from South Africa and applying those instead. I find that a bit dodgy, and I'd like to have some reasonable laws to protect me from people like that. Still, we do need to get rid of the ECHR because of those small boats, don't we? Yes. Now, if you're very interested, I can heavily recommend that you watch Blonde Politics, Dark Gothic MAGA, How Tech Billionaires Plan to Destroy America. Probably the most useful thing you're going to see this weekend. It neatly unpacks all of those things that various people have been warning us about for the last decade. But of course, we mustn't listen to them because they're bad people. Yeah, bad people. Left-wingers, Jew. Yeah, they just don't have your interests at heart, whereas some tech billionaire autistic bloke in California really does. Yeah, he really does. No, definitely. Hopefully, anyway. Yeah. So, just don't worry about the rights thing. You'll be fine.